You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
It's good to be back.
Gino, National League Player of the Week last week. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Suarez hits a high fly ball deep to left field. Gino Suarez gone for a grand slam. He was down to his final strike with the bases full and 2 outs. A high fly ball, and it just cleared the fence out there in left. And it's 7-4 Diamondbacks.
Hey, there's your Player of the Week.
Reno hits Gino. What a start for Suarez.
Yankees lose. Yankees lose. I got to take joy in other people's failures since the Red Sox stink right now. So why not make fun of the Yankees a little bit? It's all right. Raffy Devers back at it today for the Red Sox. Let's see if we can get to, I don't know, up to 25 Ks by the end of this series. Crazy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out across the video platform. Following me on Twitter X at PShep326. On the Facebook page is Coastal Sports Network. And my Facebook page, SR1029 The Game. Great app. You see it right up there. Also on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSN Florida, and LinkedIn. As always, you can call the text the show, 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. We'll have a big MLB rundown a little bit later on in the show. Lots of NFL news that is going to dominate the program today, and why not? Lots of NFL news, lots of rule changes. Tush push, as I thought, got tabled to a later date. Will they get the 24 votes at a later date when I believe they're in Minnesota for the next round of meetings? Who the hell knows? But it's getting to be a little bit ridiculous. It certainly seems. Listen to Roger Goodell yesterday that the tush push is going to be voted out. It's just a matter of time. It's going to wait a little longer, which is too bad. It stinks. But we'll get into all of that. Lots of news with the Patriots. Robert Kraft headed to West Palm Beach yesterday, spoke to the media, found out that Bill Parcells is going to be elected into the Patriots Football Hall of Fame, which is long overdue. Belichick will get there, obviously, as well. I think once he's done coaching for good, which who knows when that will be. But for now, anyway, he's the head coach in North Carolina. Some crazy NBA action last night. The Minnesota Timberwolves and what happened at the end of that game is absolutely unbelievable. Despite Jokic's 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, they lose. Wait till you see the video of this. You talk about a choke job. Crazy stuff happening in that one. And then, as we say good morning to Angel Martinez, I've seen certain promos that are done in professional arenas, football, basketball, hockey, and baseball, arenas, stadiums, promotions at halftime or between quarters. You know how they do all this crazy stuff, particularly in the NBA?
Yeah.
One went horribly wrong last night in Atlanta. Horribly wrong.
Oh, no.
Which I have the video for that as well. But anyway, good morning to Angel Martinez. It is warm. Yesterday felt like a mid-June day, about 91 degrees. Humidity wasn't that bad. It's down to 53%. We're getting up to 90, 91 again today here in Southwest Florida. And then we'll start to cool off a little bit by the end of, a little bit on the weekend and a little bit more next week. By cooling off, I mean getting into the lower 80s. But nevertheless, still beautiful outside. By the way, anybody traveling today, you're listening to the sound of my voice. I was watching the local news this morning, Angel, but I'd say from Houston all the way up towards past Nashville, all the way up towards Chicago. Horrific storms. Not so much in the Northeast, but from Houston all the way up to Chicago. It's like massive storms, massive tornado warnings, massive everything. So if you're headed out to parts of the Midwest or the Southwest, make sure you check your local, the airport and your local airlines, because it looked to be horribly severe weather. Now here in Florida, we missed it. It's all good. I mean, from Tallahassee all the way down to here, it looks very good. But if you're traveling or I saw severe tornado warnings up from Houston all the way up to Chicago. Really, really crappy weather. But good morning, Angel. How you doing?
I am good, Pete. And yes, it's I think the overnight was about 73. Normally that's next month when that normally happens. So we're supposed to get to what feels like temperature 96 today, even though the high is going to be 91. So it's going to feel like our normal summer days around here, which nobody complains. We all love it. It's we had enough cold weather around here this winter. And then we're expected, I guess, next Tuesday to have our next cold front because it's supposed to be a wash come next Tuesday. And the temperatures are dip for like a couple hours and then rise back up on Wednesday. So that the women have arrived. The NCAA Women's Final Four have arrived in Tampa. They were taking pictures all over the place yesterday, which was nice to see. And then practice starts coming up today, Thursday, Friday, leading up to the two games. And then Saturday, some more practice, maybe some opportunities for the media. And then Sunday, obviously, the final will be on Sunday. So it's good games, good weekend coming up.
Yeah, UConn, UCLA, 1-2, and then you've got Texas and South Carolina. So I think most people are hoping for a Connecticut, South Carolina final. I think that would be the most entertaining. I've only watched Connecticut a few times, South Carolina here and there a few times. I don't sit there and watch women's basketball start to finish. But obviously, Becker's is extremely talented. And UConn is well coached, so I'll be rooting for them. But should be great. It should be great. You get to go. What starts Friday night?
Friday night, first game.
Friday night or Friday afternoon, 5:00, something like that. It's the first game.
Friday evening. First tip off is at 7 p.m. Second tip off at 9:30.
I promise I will be watching. I love the women's Final Four. And it's like watching, if you ever want to learn how to play golf, watch the ladies. Do not watch the men. If you want to learn how to swing properly, because any golf pro will tell you this too, or most of them will tell you, you can't learn a lot by watching the men swing a golf club because they're crazy. Because it's all sorts of little kinks and they swing out, out of their shoes and everything else. And the ladies have a much cleaner, smoother way to learn how to play golf than the men do. And I like women's basketball for a lot of reasons because it's not all dunks. And it's not a lot of, there's more threes now than ever, but especially the Final Four is extremely entertaining. It's more fundamental basketball at times in the women's game, especially at this level, at this time of year, than you see in the men's. And that's because the girls have played together for 3-4 years. So we'll look forward to that and a whole lot more. Let's see. Finally, Colin Cowherd, somebody agrees about. I had to send out the Los Angeles Lakers radio and TV network, aka ESPN, as an experiment yesterday, which I don't usually do. I watched the final hour of Get Up, and then I watched the first hour of First Take. Not one story about the Celtics, not one story about them going 6-0, historic, and something that's never been done in their franchise history. Nothing. It is absolutely, and they did have tons of Laker content. It was unbelievable. Tina says, yeah, ladies with golf, also women basketball as well. Woohoo, yeah, Tina.
Indeed.
Absolutely. But 2 hours on ESPN yesterday and not a mention of the Celtics. It is so freaking embarrassing to watch the LA Lakers broadcasting the network, which includes radio and TV, which is ESPN. I don't understand it. They just hired Pete Schrager. That's great, over from the NFL Network, and they're going to make him do a gazillion things. They'll overexpose him as well. I just saw the portfolio. Besides being on McAfee's show, he's going to be on Get Up. He's going to be on First Take. Like Louis Riddick yesterday had to go from First Take to Get Up to First Take. It's the same people saying the same thing all day long, except, and it's like 3 or 4 topics, and they cannot get out of their own way in Bristol. You people suck overall. It is amazing how the lack of perspective, the narrative is just delusional. What you're trying to shove down people's throats. Anyway, we're not going to do that here. I'll play Laker highlights when they deserve to be played. But you're still talking about a team that I believe still, with only games left. I still think it's a possibility they'll be playing in the 7-10 matchup as opposed to being the 5 seed or even the 6 seed. So we'll see what happens. All I know is that the Celtics are making an historic run. No one is going to touch them. Nobody. They are just too deep. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, Angel. If we could scroll down, then we're going to get to a lot of football stuff because I know you have some thoughts on it as well. If we could scroll down to oh, by the way, Val Kilmer passed away last night at the age of 65.
Oh, it's a shame.
So, yeah, he was very. If you go back to NBA on ESPN, now just listen to this. This is from Danny Green on NBA on ESPN yesterday. And he says, I just don't trust Boston South. I'll let him do the pedantic blathering, and then I'll comment on it.
All right.
Teams suck. And wait till I'll get to that too. How the best scorer in the NHL, or one of them, Alex Ovechkin, who's now 4 goals away from Wayne Gretzky's all-time lead. He had what would be, if you were under the basket, and I'll make the analogy, if you were under the basket all alone, Angel, and just easy layup, 99.9%. He's sitting there on the left post, on the low post yesterday. Nobody, not anybody in black and gold and white around him at all. An easy peasy goal, which we'll get to. Just absolutely pathetic. They have become a major embarrassment, Tina, an absolute major embarrassment. I cannot stand it. I hope they hire John Tortorella, come in there and kick some ass. That's what I hope happens. All right, listen to this. Here's some more pedantic blathering for people who don't watch the Celtics enough. Danny Green, here's his, listen to this wisdom.
Time for red light, green light with NBA analyst Danny Green. Danny, I'm going to give you a statement. If you agree, it's a green light. If you disagree, it's a red light. So the first statement, Boston will go further than Cleveland in the playoffs. Red light or green light?
This is a controversial one for me. Everything is telling me, I like Boston as a team. They are really good. But I'm going to give, this one a red light because for some reason I just don't trust Boston's health. They always have some issues. They're up and down. Porzingis is out. Obviously, Jason Tatum had an ankle injury, but he'll be back. But they always have something that comes up. And I don't know if they'll be able to keep that or sustain that in the playoffs without everybody healthy, especially Porzingis.
All right, the next one. The Pistons can win a playoff series.
Okay,
red light or green light?
You can stop it there.
Green light.
I mean, obviously he has not seen any of this road trip. He has not seen, how many times do I have to say it, this is the only team in the NBA that can not rest. I mean, they have done, I'm not going to say it's not load management, but I think they've been legitimate issues. Jason Tatum, you've heard him, wants to play every minute of every single game. He rolled, trust me, the way he rolled his ankle last week, there was a lot of players that still wouldn't be playing. He was back out there. He missed one game and came back out there. The Celtics are the only team in the league, Danny, that can rest 1, 2, 3, or not rest if they're legitimate. They have played on this road trip without 3 starters and won. They won every single game by double digits, every one of them, by a lot. They have gone through the second half of the season. They haven't really had a full team, maybe but 1 or 2 games as far as that goes. And I understand what they're doing over there. Totally understand what Joe Mazzulla's doing over there. You're not affecting the fans because you got great play there so deep they can do that. And I still don't understand how people like Danny, I mean, it's obvious. They see one clip here, one clip there. I'm not saying you have to watch every minute of every game like I do for the Celtics, but you got to be better than that. I mean, I could fucking get 2 kids off the streets from second grade and give that kind of analysis. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You're obviously not watching. What they never should have been like, God, this team is so good that they have rested this player, that player, this player has been injuries or flu or whatever it is, whether it's Jaylen Brown the other night or Tatum or Porzingis, it doesn't matter. They are so deep. Look what Al Horford did the other night. The old man with 26 points off the bench. And you got Hauser. You got Cornette didn't play the other night either. I mean, little Pritchard didn't play the other night either. They're 6th and 7th men off the bench. I mean, they're just so deep. They are just so deep. And everybody over at the Los Angeles Radio and TV Network, a.k.a. ESPN, is just missing the whole thing. Missing it. Missing greatness. Missing greatness right in front of their eyes. And I don't care if you want to call me a homer about. I'm being realistic. I watched too much NBA game. Too much. I watched almost all of the Milwaukee game last night because they had Shekels and they won. They covered against Phoenix, which is his team is just Phoenix is just a mess. But if you cannot appreciate, just as an NBA fan, and set aside your hatred in Bristol that they have for the Celtics, most of the people over there on the Lakers broadcasting network, if you can't appreciate what this team is doing, I promise you, if the Lakers or the Knicks were doing what the Celtics were doing, you think the Laker coverage is bad now? It would be off the chart. But because it's the Celtics and because they are have LeBron up their respective tookuses, all of them over there, they can't get out of their own way with proper NBA analysis. It is absolutely unbelievable. It continues to get worse and worse and worse. And, Stephen A., to his credit, is kind of the only one that has been, saying the Celtics are probably going to repeat. But I don't even care. I don't care about, just talk about them. They continue to talk about the Lakers and all this other shit that's going on. It's just, I've never seen a team playing for a 4, 5, 6, 7 seed get so much publicity. It's ridiculous. And I'm telling you, they'll barely get out of the first round, maybe. They sure as hell ain't getting out of the second round. No way. Not with the way that team plays defense. No way. Anyway, all right. Soapbox, climbing down. All right. Actually, as long as I'm on this little rant, let's scroll down again. Let's go down to the volume. And this was on Colin Cowherd's show the other day, or yesterday, with Jason Trump as well, host of Hoops Tonight over there on what network is it, Fox, whatever it is. So you see it. It's like, no, it's 3 down from the show. It's way up, three down from the show. The volume. I don't think anybody beats Boston. That's the headline. Yep, right there.
Right.
I tell you, I watch Boston. That team plays their arse off. They play hard, and they coach hard. I don't think anybody beats Boston.
I don't think anybody's unbeatable, but I have never wavered from Boston as my favorite this year. There's the obvious talent conundrum they present to teams, which is they just have way more good players than most teams do. But I also think that it's time that we acknowledge Boston organizationally from the top down is the most well-run, and really a culture that is all about pursuing the great shot over the good shot. And then you've got the players that are all bought into it. And so it's from the top down. And one of the ways that manifested, I thought, was that ass kicking that they delivered the other night without Jason Tatum. In that game, you can see them just playing a style of basketball, which is like modern 4-out, 1-in, driving, kick, spacing basketball, which requires incrementally breaking down the defense until you get these unbelievable wide open shots.
What's offensive about what he just said is that he's like, it's about time we start acknowledging the Celtics from top to bottom. I can't take it. I just can't take it. What are you people paying attention to from last year to this year? They re-signed what the hell are you people paying attention to? They've been doing this now for close to 2 years, more than that. I mean, before that, they got to the conference championships and finals. Yeah, a few years ago against Golden State. This has been going on organizationally for a long time. And now they are for this group, they are right there at the pinnacle. This is going to go down as one of the greatest Celtics teams of all time. People are going to start comparing a lot of what they do to 86. It's tough to compare eras to do that, but I'm telling you, in my lifetime, this is one of the greatest Celtics team of all time. And it might be the deepest team of all time that I have seen in my lifetime. I can remember basketball back in starting in 74. All right, 58 years old. I've seen enough, and this is one of the great Celtics teams of all time. Now they got to win it. They got to go out and win it, and I believe they will. But the depth that they have, it's just amazing. All right, let's get to. But it's about time we start, acknowledging what the Celtics are from top to bottom. What have you been watching for 2 years? And I'm just saying forget 2 years, the last 7 to 8 years. What have you been watching? Freaking crazy. All right, sticking with the NBA theme. Then I'll get to the NFL stuff. And Robert Kraft speaking yesterday. He had a lot of interesting things to say. Bill Parcells heading into the Patriots Hall of Fame. I have some thoughts on that and a lot more. All right, if we could scroll down again, Angel, underneath what we just played, it is 2 down. About this is what happened in Atlanta last night.
Oh boy.
That right there. Watch this. I don't remember ever seeing anything like this. This is what happened during one of those promotional things that they do at NBA arenas during either the end of a quarter or halftime.
They are ready for this five-ball change tic-tac-toe game. Now, this is a basketball game, so we had to add some basketball in it. They have to make a layup in order to get a game piece. Once they grab their game piece, they'll place it on the board, and the first to get all 5 game pieces or tic-tac-toe will be our winner. So, James, Daz, are you ready? All right, then tic-tac-go!
That's just going on with the contest.
Fair game at this point. James! Can you just be kind and come over here with me and check on James? Dog, Des, we know you want him, but okay.
Can you believe this?
Turn around. Okay, we gonna check on him, but I mean,
how much do you get paid, lady?
I can't give you a winner back to you.
At the very end.
Christ, that is unbelievable. By the way, the guy tore his ACL.
That's crazy. But at the very end, you can finally tell she's like, oh, wait, what happened? I mean, I think they should have cut away because obviously if he was injured, that was it.
They should have stopped it. The whole thing should have been stopped immediately and do it at another time. And just, I don't know if the Hawks trainer was out there last night or whatever, but I mean, guy's sitting there. When I saw it, I knew he did something obviously to his knee. I thought he might have got a concussion too, the way his head went back and hit the floor. How do you do? And she's sitting there and clueless, like doing this stupid, useless contest, while that guy's sitting over there, in absolute agony. Have some common sense, people. Like people and people who do that kind of crap on the sideline. They throw shirts into the stands and all that stuff. A lot of them are aspiring broadcasters, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just you don't go through with a contest like you stop. Have some common sense, people.
I think it's, to me, the production crew, because she got, to me, in my opinion, she got a little bit hung out to dry as well, because it's like she's kind of looking around like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So they should have cut away from it, even if the audio would be going on.
She should have stopped it right there and then and said, okay, hang on, stop the music, and gone down and made sure that he was okay. Somebody go in the locker room, get the goddamn trainer out from the Hawks and come out there and tend to this guy. What if he had cracked his head open? That guy would have sat there, you'd have bled to death. This is so stupid. It's just common sense, people. Common sense.
I just wonder when it comes down to because when he slipped, I don't know. I wonder if there was something either wet or something else on the court there, because it was, as soon as he went up for the layup, it went right down.
I don't think it was wet. I think either his shoes or I don't know if he hit that little basketball, whatever it was. It's probably his shoe. I mean, they don't. It's maybe it was a little moist. I don't know. Usually they clean that stuff up. But I just can't believe they went on with it. It's so stupid. All right. Thinking and we can scroll up, Angel. I want to show you what happened. This is the end of the Timberwolves Nuggets game last night. It's from John Fant. It's right above it. And watch this. What happened at the end of this game? Boy, oh boy, the Denver Nuggets really, Jokic had 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, and they lost. A crazy finish at the end. Kevin Harlan.
Watson on the ball. Conley to Anthony Edwards. Gordon is there, and he threw it away. It's a turnover. 2-on-1. Brown, Westbrook, no. Rebound Alexander Walker. Final seconds. Here we go. Conley the other way. Edwards looks at the clock. Drives, feeds, forwards. Oh!
They got a foul.
They got
a foul on the three-point shot.
It's a foul on the three-point shot.
Wow. Now, they've got to review to see if the foul occurred before the clock.
Alexander Walker.
The beast of the day away. Unbelievable. Misses the layup.
Westbrook was there. It was a three-point try. The foul, you can see, was called the three-point shot.
Yep, that was Russell Westbrook misses the bunny and then commits the foul, and then Alexander Walker hit 2 of the free throws, and the Minnesota Timberwolves escape with a 140-139 double overtime win in Denver against the Nuggets.
Yikes.
Way to go, Russell. That's the double whammy for you. You missed the bunny and commit the foul. Stupid!
Then, like at the very end, when he ran off, like, yeah, I'm not taking any questions, bolted right into the locker room.
Well, yeah. Oh my God! And actually, do we have any? Let me see if I have any other cuts from the coaching staff from that game. Where is it? I promise we'll get to. Nope, just a couple highlights. Nothing from the coaches. But 140-139, double overtime win. Nice win by the Wolves. But man, oh man. And if you get beat on the three-point shot, you get beat on the three-point shot. You cannot foul in that situation. And Russell Westbrook should know better with 0.1 seconds left on the three. I mean, come on. He was pissed off because he missed the bunny. Pissed off because he missed the bunny. And didn't do himself any good at all, or the team. They blew it. And Jokic was unbelievable last night, 61-10-10 in a losing effort. Absolutely pathetic. All right, let's take a quick break, Angel. And when we come back, I promise, we're going to get right into the NFL. Robert Kraft was in West Palm yesterday and had a lot of interesting things to say, not only about the team, but announced that Bill Parcells will be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. We'll have all those highlights, to push or not to push, the tush push. It's been tabled, a lot of T's in there. The tush push has been tabled to some other timing when they were all in Minnesota. And they need 24 votes. We'll get into all of that and a whole lot more. Bill Sparrow's going to join me at 8:30 this morning. Got a lot to discuss with him. We got Major League Baseball to talk about. And Alex Ovechkin scored again last night. The Bruins are the worst team in the NHL right now. They have been that way for a couple of months. It's just it's exhausting. I refuse to watch. I just look at the highlights. I absolutely refuse to watch a team that has completely quit. Where they 0-11 and won their last 12. Just pathetic. We'll get into all of that right here on the Pete Sheppard Show on a Hump Day, Wednesday, April 2nd on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody. It's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Carlson steps in, looking for the deflection. Score! Yes! Alex Ovechkin! 4 tallies to hockey immortality.
Nobody near him.
That is a layup. What a pass.
Layup. Dunk.
His wife in the house celebrating that goal. The fans celebrating here in Boston. It's as loud as I've heard for a visiting team. They're not here to really watch their team. They want to watch the Washington Capitals, and they want to watch Ovi. And watch how Ovi gets open. This is how the passing game works for the Caps. What a pass. Carlson, Strome, backhand off the back of his stick, empty net. Here's an isolation of Alex Ovechkin. Right past Swayman, and Ovi's got...
All right, shut up. Thanks to MNMT. There actually were some Capital fans there at the game last night. Yeah, but I mean, Boston fans have always appreciated greatness. You know, if you make a great play in the field, they will applaud you, or in the rink or in the arena. For the most part, they will applaud you. And obviously, Ovechkin is approaching Wayne Gretzky's mark. But it is so embarrassing. It may be, and this is not going out on a limb, or maybe I am, because they've had so many bad goals they've given up, especially the last month and a half. That might be the worst one yet. You have the best scorer in the league, or one of them, and one of the top players in the league, and he is all alone there, having, you know, a BLT sandwich on marble rye, extra mayo, and could chug a beer. That's how much time he had to put that puck in the net. It's pathetic. Absolutely beyond pathetic. Bruins lose 4-3 at home. They were down 2-0. They kind of made a game of it, but who cares? They made a game of it. Whoop-de-doo. 39-year-old wide open on the bottom of the net. Let's see. Let me see some of these ridiculous numbers. It's so bad. I mean, the Bruins are what, 10-1 in their last 11, or 11-1. There's a lot of O's, and it's not it's in the win column. Big fat zeros. Trying to think of the officially. No, they're not even worthy of it. They suck. It's embarrassing, and they really need. You talk about. Remember Jack Nicholson and Batman, the first one, you know, back in the day? This town needs an enema. Well, this team does. They need an enema. They need a big one. A big one.
That's never good.
It's so frustrating to watch this team deteriorate right before my eyes. Anyway, they're the anti-Celtics. All right. Back here, thanks for checking us out here across the Coastal Sports Network. Let's get down to it yesterday. You might have to scroll down a little bit, Angel. Start with Robert Kraft. Couple of things. He was in Foxborough yesterday. And I'm trying to find, yes, you got to go way down to Mark
Daniels.
Yes. No, go down to Mike Reese. We'll do Daniels after that. Go down to Mike Reese. This is with him and a lot of other people, obviously, but everybody has this video highlight. Robert Kraft announcing that Bill Parcells will be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Here's how it went down.
Bill Parcells, and I asked him if he would be kind enough to accept going into our Patriot Hall of Fame. He had been a finalist for 5 years, and going back to your question, while both of us are alive in our late 30s, you know, I thought it would be great, given what he's done for the team, if he would accept entry as a contributor into the Patriots Hall of Fame. And he accepted. I actually wanted to meet with him in person, but he was on his way to Saratoga, where he goes. So he's sort of, so I'm excited. We'll have him at our Patriots Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and I'm sorry if I messed up the Thursday meeting of the people.
Can I? Yeah, and long overdue. But given the history, people got to remember, and if you don't remember, the Patriots, when the good, there was a good, some bad, and there was some ugly. The greatnesses of it, the Patriots would never be where they are today, and Robert Kraft knows this, if they did not hire Bill Parcells. He was the first cog in the wheel. He was the first one to get things going. As soon as they hired him, it wasn't even an hour after, I guess, they had the increased ticket sales of like 5,000. You got to remember, where the Patriots used to play was basically a high school stadium. It was terrible. They were the worst organization, one of the worst organizations, arguably the worst organization in all of sports for a good 3 or 4 years before Robert Kraft bought the team. And when he hired Bill Parcells, that changed everything. Drew Bledsoe obviously came next. That was the year Bledsoe and Meyer went 1-2. Drew to New England and Rick to Seattle, where he did not flourish. A lot of people wanted the Patriots to take Meyer. I'll never forget, because all these Notre Dame idiots out there, I think that Notre Dame could do no wrong because he went there. He's going to be. And I remember several people going, "Well, if Bledsoe comes in, it's going to be a waste. It's just going to be, 3 yards handing off in a cloud of dust, and he's never going to get to throw the ball." And I used to argue with people all the time. I go, just got Bill Parcells. Now you got the number one quarterback in the country, prospect anyway, and Drew Bledsoe. Good coaches and great coaches adjust and adapt to the talent that they have. That's why they're great coaches. And it's exactly what Bill Parcells did. And they were throwing the ball all over the place for a long time. I mean, Bledsoe set the record against the Vikings back in the day. And who could ever forget the pass to the late, great Turner catching that ball, the fullback out of the Patriots. They were down by 3 touchdowns with 8 minutes to go and made a huge comeback against the Minnesota Vikings back in 1994 or 95, on their way to going 10-6 and making the postseason. It was unbelievable. He was 45 of 70. I still think it's the record to this day. He threw the ball 70 times. 45 of 70 for 400-something yards, whatever it was. But Bill Parcells was amazing, changed the total attitude of that team. He brought over all the coaches, including Bill Parcells from the Giants, Al Groh, and those types. And it made a huge difference. Patriots would not be where they are today without Bill Parcells being the head coach of that team. Now, the bad part is, Drew's rookie year, they do well, particularly at the end, and they won 4 games in a row, finished 6-10, knocked Miami out of the playoffs, but they were a team nobody wanted to play. Next year, they make the playoffs. They go 10-6. They end up losing to Bill Belichick's Cleveland Browns. Close game, tough game, but I think it was 17-10 they lost, but it was kind of like they weren't really in it, and Bill Belichick did a great job beating the Patriots. And the next year, they go 500. Again, they started off like 0-4. But then they finished up strong, 8-8. They were right around the playoffs to get in. That didn't happen. Then finally, Parcells next year, they go nuts and they get the wild card. Denver gets upset big time by Jacksonville. Jacksonville has to come to New England, and everybody remembers Otis, my man Smith, making a key interception on Brunell, who was Brady's nemesis while he was at Washington, and Drew was at Washington State. Patriots go on to the Super Bowl, and then all hell broke loose that week because they couldn't even focus on the game. The Jets had tampered. There was no question about it, and everybody knew before the kickoff on Super Bowl Sunday, the entire press corps knew that Bill Parcells was going to go to the Jets. It sort of ruined the week. The Patriots got down 10-0 in that Super Bowl against Green Bay in that game. That's the Desmond Howard game. They got down 10-0 in the first quarter. And then they came back. They took the lead at the end of the first. They were up 14-10, and they were playing well. I'm like, okay. And then for some reason, Parcells had Vinatieri kick off to Desmond Howard, the Heisman Trophy winner who was playing for Green Bay. He runs it back for a touchdown early in the second half, and that was that. That was that. I mean, they made it somewhat respectable, but you couldn't even enjoy it. If I remember correctly, Bill Parcells did not even fly back home with the team. Didn't fly back home with the team. It was an absolute mess. And before you know it, you could even blink. Bill Parcells is the head coach of the Jets.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question here as a reporter.
Belichick with him to grow with him. And it was an absolute mess. But, okay, go ahead.
All right. Angel Martinez here with CSN and Sports Radio 102.9. Pete, thank you for joining the program here this morning. 2 questions. First of all, how long does it take to make actually the Hall of Fame out there for the Patriots? And the second part to that question would be, why did it take so long for Bill Parcells to be actually into the Hall of Fame?
Well, the second part is easy. I'm just explaining it because there was bad blood because of the way he left. I mean, he left. It was ugly how he left. It was ugly to go and ruin Super Bowl week for a lot of people. Which was down in New Orleans, and then to everybody knew he was leaving for the Jets. It was bad enough he was leaving and left the way he did, but then to go to those idiots was even worse. So that's why. Other players, I think once they retire, I mean, the Richard usually it takes when somebody retires for the Patriots Hall of Fame, and I'm sure it's like this for a lot of other teams as well. It usually takes anywhere 2, 3, 4 years before they induct you in. They can't put everybody in. And it doesn't matter with the Patriots, your respective teams. You're not going to get everybody in, but that's why. It was an ugly, ugly end to that. So I don't fault Robert Kraft for letting him wait, but he's come to the reality and that he knows. I mean, he knew from the get-go that even the way he left, that the Patriots would not be where they are today if the foundation for this part of their brand right now for the last 25 years was because of Bill Parcells. There's no question about it. And Drew Bledsoe, those two. All right, if we could scroll up a couple to Mark Daniels, and he was asked about having a succession plan.
Are you telling me what? First of all, I think I'm 35, and you all will laugh when I say it, but I really, you know, in life, look, I was a little kid sitting on those benches dreaming about owning this team and bringing a winning culture here. I said after my family, this team and this foundation to combat hate and anti-Semitism, those are my passions. You know, as far as succession is there. I have my eldest son, John, and has been part of every key decision I've made for the last 30-odd years, and is a full partner in everything. He stays out of the limelight, but we have a plan that is in place for all of our businesses. And I don't know, were you suggesting something that, you know, that's a bias. Sometimes with age you have experience, but let's see what happens this year. Let's see what happens over the next 2 to 3 years.
All right, Robert Kraft. Yes, we all know Jonathan is kind of running the show behind the scenes, but really Mike Vrabel is the one that's, and Elliot Wolf, but Mike Vrabel is the one that's running the show. Elliot Wolf is, go get me a coffee. And yeah, Vrabel runs some ideas behind Elliot Wolf, the de facto GM, so to speak, but it's Mike Vrabel, thumbprint all over this team. Now, if we could scroll up, Angel, one more. Now, this is interesting. My man, A.J. Brown, Angel's man, A.J. Brown. He's very, very excited in this video. I'll let you see it. I'm not going to ruin it for you. I think Angel knows why. But A.J. Brown, who I wanted the Patriots to steal him from Philadelphia, but they couldn't get it done. A.J., the great wide receiver for the Eagles, he's very excited. Here's why.
I've been waiting on it. Oh, man. If you don't believe in God, man, you tripping.
Open the damn thing already.
That's what I'm talking about. Take a deep breath.
You want tight tea?
All right, y'all ready? Damn! My dog. What I'm talking about? Let's get go. I don't want to wake nobody up. My dog came through clutch. And what? My chest a little hard. But let's go, man. Appreciate you, big bro. You officially reached big bro status. We locked in, twin.
We locked.
Nah, man. It's love, man. Appreciate you so much, man. Best to ever put a pair of cleats on.
All right, that's enough.
That was a Tom Brady autographed jersey, a Patriots one, by the way, which I'm kind of glad. No offense. I mean, I love when he was down here in Tampa Bay, and don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't bother me if it was a Tampa Bay jersey either. But the fact that he made an autograph, sent an autographed, pretty long autograph too. There's some other stuff that I can't see what was written there, but it looked like he wrote a nice little note on one of the numbers there to AJ Brown. Very exciting. That had to make you sick to your stomach, Angel. If you're an Eagles fan, did that not make you sick to your stomach? He wants to play for the Patriots. He wants to play. He wants to play for May. May to Brown. That's my new goal.
That's more than the obvious. He actually wanted to play over there, but listen, I can't freaking.
Well, he wanted to play with Tom. That's the obvious part.
Yeah, that is the obvious part that he wanted to play with him. But listen, whatever. I've accepted Tom Brady post Patriots and when he was here at Tampa Bay. I think I appreciated him more when he was down here at Tampa. Again, I just didn't like a lot of things that Patriots did. But am I mad at freaking AJ Brown? I can't be. One is because the way I'm taking it, Pete, is that is the officially signed autographed jersey that he had to put together when we beat the Patriots back in 2017. So that's the way I'm taking that video.
I don't remember that game at all. I black it out. All right, if we could scroll up a little bit higher to NFL on ESPN, and then you have Ryan Clark on ESPN talking about the Patriots and their offseason move, what they have done. He likes what they have done for Drake, especially getting Drake May.
Here comes my favorite fan base, the Wizards. They're coming.
The one thing that the Patriots have done is they've identified the quarterback. And that's the hardest part about trying to win in this league. You lucked up with Tom Brady, and now when Drake May, you make that pick 3rd overall last year, and you got an absolute stud at the position. Do y'all know what Robert Kraft sounds like to me? He sounds like a man that ain't lost in 2 decades. As a matter of fact, he sounds like a man that dominated for 2 decades. My dog like, man, these last 2 years not winning Super Bowls been absolutely stinking miserable. You think? Welcome to the NFL, Robert Kraft. And so now it's about figuring out how do we surround Drake May with the people to make him his absolute best. We saw a ton of times last year this dude making lemonade out of tomatoes. And so now that you add a Mac Hollins, you add a Stephon Diggs, get him another piece, get him some more protection, get him somebody explosive on the outside. And I think the sky's the limit for this young man, especially the way they shored up some spots defensively as well through free agency.
Yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff there from Ryan Clark. Yeah, so, I mean, the expectations are going to be very, very high for New England, fair or not. They should be high. They should be in the 8 or 9 win category next year because of what they have done, because of the new coach, because of the schedule, which on paper is one of the easiest schedules in the league. But we all know that things change schedule-wise. Teams, there's always teams or a team that is better than you think it is. There's always teams that you think are going to be very good that are not. They have, for whatever reason, whether it be injury or playoff hangover, whatever you want to call it. It's never as easy as it seems on paper. But my expectations are they should be contending for a postseason position next year with everything they have done.
Listen, to be fair, I mean, I even said to you, Pete, as you know, the things have been happening with the Patriots. I'm really excited to see the season this year for the Patriots. I think Mike Vrabel came in, definitely changed the mindset. I like that again. Robert Kraft took ownership of his screw up, and Drake May, as many times I'll say when we were at the Pro Bowl, such a personal person. It's just it's freaking ridiculous. So I expect nothing but. I would think 7 wins. It might be a far stretch on a rebound year, but I think 7 wins would be even in the wheelhouse for the Patriots.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if it's 7, but certainly I think doubling what they did last year, because as bad as they were last year, there were like 4 different plays. And I know you could say this about every NFL team, but the Patriots had about 4 plays last year at the end of games, and I'm serious, that they could have won and easily could have got 4 more wins. As bad, as pathetic as it was for a big chunk of it, but you know what? They didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve it. Let's see. Right, if we could scroll up to Pat McAfee, a couple of the new rule changes. Here's the new K-ball rule. Is going to be massive for kickers and punters. And here's Pat McAfee with Pete Schrager, who they just pillaged from the NFL Network. That's it.
I mean, I'm surprised he did that, but I guess because of the merger, I could see it.
So let's roll through the rules that did pass here quickly. Kickoff will now go to the 35 after a touchback, which is good. Kickers also are allowed to bring their own balls into the games, which is awesome. Look for punters to hit massive balls. This is going to benefit the punters greatly and obviously kickers as well. But every time a punter goes on the field, if he's going to have a broken in ball, there's a chance we see some 5.8, 5.9 hang time, maybe even like a 6.0 hang time. In the game.
You guys were punting brand new balls before?
No, so it wasn't brand new balls. It was 30 minutes of broken in before the game. One equipment manager from each team was deemed the person to break in the balls, and then an official would come watch. They had a brush, a towel, and a squirt water bottle, and they had 30 minutes under supervision to break in the balls. Highly anxiety riddled for the equipment managers who have a lot of other shit to deal with right before the game. And then our guy would come out. His name was Frog. He'd be dripping in sweat. He'd be like, I got some good ones for you guys today. And we'd say, thank you, Frog. And then Frog would have a great Christmas, because that is a big deal.
Frog.
Yeah. We take care of Frog. Obviously, Frog, good man, good lad. Also worked his ass off in there for 30 minutes every single week. There's some teams that have shitty ones. Back in the day, it was brand new balls. So there's always been a lot of K-ball conversation. Now they're going to be able to bring their own balls to the games. Look for punters to hit gigantic balls.
All right, there's just that's just one of the rule changes, obviously, which is going to be interesting. I got the audio yesterday also, Shannon Sharp and Ryan Clark talking about reacting to the tush push, which got tabled yesterday. Diana Rossini kind of speculated earlier yesterday, and we had it for you. And I kind of thought it was going to be too, because it's just too much back and forth. NFL bylaws require a minimum of 24 votes to approve a change. The topic will be revisited again May 20th and 21st in Eagan, Minnesota. But here's Ryan Clark and Shannon Sharp talking about the tush push being tabled.
Well, I think it should be tabled. My thought is, though, what happens when the coaches aren't there? What happens when they're having these conversations further down the road? I heard you guys talk about it a little bit earlier. And if this is truly a player safety thing, I listened to Nick Sirianni say we don't coach this play from the offensive line and the defensive line in any way different than we coach a normal quarterback sneak. And then also Shannon mentioning something that a lot of people don't remember is that you did used to push on field goal block, and that was something that was outlawed. So there's so many pieces to this. I think my larger problem is it's such a successful play that attempting to outlaw it feels like a way to find an out of defending it. And I think to me, that part was soft. To me, that part was people running from coaching, as Mike Tomlin would say. So I'm glad that it was tabled for now, but I do believe this will be a topic of discussion again. And if they can continue to push that it is a player health and safety risk, I believe at some point the tush push will be outlawed by the NFL.
I just think they should take a stance. Pick a side. Whatever you decide, either outlaw or let it, because I'm kind of tired of talking about it. We know there's only a handful of teams that have success. You talk about Josh Allen, who's 6'6", 250 pounds. They're successful at it. And the Philadelphia Eagles with a 6'6", 328-pound offensive line with a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. His leg drive. But, normally there was a time that aiding the runner, which means you push the runner to gain extra yards, that were outlawed. Now you can aid the runner, you just can't pull him. It's just, for me, I just want them to make a decision one way or another. It does seem like a cop-out because only two teams seemingly have success doing it.
That's not true.
The Eagles are like
That's not true.
on 3rd and 4th downs when they use this play. Nobody in the history of the game. Do you know how many games you would actually win if you could beat 86% on all of your 3rd and 4th downs, regardless of the
you win the Super Bowl.
RCs? Every single year, because you're never coming off the field. You're not coming off the field. And so for me, Stephen A., I agree. I think it's because they can't figure out a way to defend it. Because I remember the run and shoot and the no hurry. You remember Nick Saban used to say the hurry up offense. They need to do something with the hurry up offense. Well, they adopted, they found ways, they got innovative. They started doing the hurry up offense as well. Until you find a way to defend it, people are going to say, well, you know what? We need to outlaw it because we can't stop it through our creative coaching style. So,
look, it's probably going to get outlawed. And it's just not true. Just because the Bills and the Eagles are around 86%, the rest of the league was at 71%. Why does that stat never get brought up? This is not like this huge discrepancy where the Eagles and Bills are at high 80 percentage and the rest of the league is at 10%, 20%, 30%, even 40%. It's at 71% for the rest of the league. Enough of this crap. You're only giving a little bit of the story. You're not presenting all the facts. I've been screaming this since that data came out. Before the Super Bowl, we were talking about this. I gave you the numbers. 71% for the rest of the NFL converts on the tush push. And again, the chief medical officer for the NFL, Dr. Alan Sills, even though there's no injury data to support the ban, he told owners this week the mechanics of the play could lead to injuries. Well, you could say that about every play in the NFL, every one. Another source saying that some owners warned their colleagues that a serious injury was just a matter of time. That is such a cop-out. You can say that about every single play. What about jumbo formation? Goal line stance. What about that? What about jumbo formations where you got you get 8,000 tight ends in there and you're going to run the ball up? I mean, you could say that about every single play, that there's a chance somebody's going to get hurt. It's the National Football League. It's a violent game. It's a dangerous game. You're risking injury on any given play. Any one game. We see guys get lost for the season in OTAs that are non-contact drills. And this is so ridiculous. And it's going to be tabled to late May, and they're going to outlaw it. They're going to change the language in it, and it's going to be outlawed. And they're going to, as far as the office pushing people in, look. The one thing this is also going to get banned too, Angel. They're going to redo the language where you cannot force anybody. You can't push anybody forward. How many times do we see, it doesn't matter what team, how many times do we see a wide receiver catch a ball at like the 2 or 3 yard line and his teammates, he's either backwards or whatever, his teammates push him forward into the end zone? Yep. How many times do we see that with receivers and running back? You see it all the time. They're gonna outlaw all of it. You will not be able to touch a player or push a player forward anymore. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen next month or in May. That's what's going to happen next month in Minnesota. So it's because these people bitching and moaning convention because they can't stop it because it's too bad. It's too bad. But I hate the fact that they keep leaving out that 71% of the league is doing it and doing it very well. Just the Eagles have done it better and the Bills to a degree. All right. Before I go to break, Andrew, did you get my text, by the way? Okay, fantastic. I got it. Now I got to get to my boy, my buddy Phil Castanetti. I want to make sure because I can't see that, so I have to. By the way, afterwards, did you have that? You still have that Joe Torre thing I sent you yesterday?
Yeah.
I want to play. I'll play it at some point next hour. Okay. So I do want to remind everybody coming up at the bottom of next hour, we're going to have Bill Sparrows, Boston Herald. Great sports columnist, and from bookies.com, the senior betting analyst there. But do want to tell you about Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts, New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Get on down there, and especially he's having this 1975 Red Sox appearing at Sports World coming up on April 5th. From 11 a.m. until noon. That's this weekend. Guys like Tim Blackwell, Rick Wise, Steve Dillard, Rick Krug, you'd see it right up there. Get on down there. You see they're going to be appearing at Sports World April 5th, 11 a.m. until noon. $20 each for autographs. There'll be photos and baseballs will be available for sale. So get on down there to Phil Castanetti Sports World at 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. All right, when we come back, we'll do a little MLB rundown and discovered an oldie but a goodie. A great Joe Torre rant, not when he was with the Yankees, but when he was with the Atlanta Braves. Absolutely fantastic, that team that went on to the playoffs in '82 when he was gut manager of the year. Interesting stuff. If you don't like cussing, I'm just warning you now. Anyway, it's good stuff. We'll play it. I'll call for it when we come back, and we'll do an MLB rundown as well, and lots more NFL news to tell you about here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you.
That's a home run from Kyle Tucker. His 4th straight game. He's never done that before in his career. The Cubs have a 4-2 lead, and there was no doubt about it. Wow. JD, I can get used to watching this guy hit.
Yeah, boy, this is fun. You talk about a guy that's absolutely locked in. He did not do much at all in spring training.
Rafael Devers, see that? Go back and watch that. Kyle Tucker, Cubbies, red hot. 4th game in a row, hit a home run. I settled for a long fly ball. Rafi. That's it. Just a fly ball. How about a sack fly? Is that too much to ask? Oh my God. By the way, Joan Jett's best song by a long shot. Everybody loves I Love Rock and Roll. It's a little catchy tune, but I think I Hate Myself for Loving You is just her best by far. Dylan says, who should pick to the Final Four in women's and men's? Well, I've already said, I think Becker's is the best. It's going to be UConn and South Carolina. I think UConn wins the whole thing. And my Final Four, I got 3 of them in. I stupidly backed Tennessee. They got to the Elite Eight, but they didn't get in. The rest of them I got in. I have Florida beating Duke in the final. I have Florida, Auburn, Duke, and Tennessee. And I have Florida beating Duke in the final. I just think they're a little deeper. Cooper Flag and all will be very tough. That should be a great game. We're going to get by Auburn first, and we'll see what happens with Duke as well. Duke and Houston. All chalk. So all 4 number 1 teams. And interesting, I think both great games. Looking forward to it on Saturday night. First game tip-off is at 6:10. So looking forward to that. Big contrast in styles with Duke and Houston. Kelvin Sampson and Scheider, the coaching's over there. Fantastic. Should be a great game. We'll see what happens. Thanks for checking us out on the Pete Sheppard Show across Twitter. Following me on X and Twitter at PShep326, on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Facebook pages, Rumble, Kick, CSN Florida, LinkedIn, of course, the great app SR1029, The Game. Call or text the show at 727-858-6650. Bill Sparrows from the Boston Herald will join me coming up at the bottom of the hour, and from senior betting analyst at bookies.com will join me as well. Quick little MLB rundown from yesterday. Just gave you the Cubs, and they beat the A's by a score of 7-4. It was the Minnesota Twins finally getting the W, beating the White Sox.
Bader crushes to left field. Back it goes. Deep it goes, and gone. Harrison Bader with his second as a Twin. An 8th inning 3-run homer, and the Twins open up an 8-3 lead.
Well, he had a real good take on the pitch before, got himself a hanging one in the middle of the plate, and he turned that wind around.
Twins Sports Network, thank you for the call there. That was the final. It's a final. Minnesota beat the White Sox by a score of 8-3. Kansas City was blanked by the Milwaukee Brewers.
It won't be a save situation, but he'll gladly get in as Yelich turns and burns, and Yelich sends it way out of here. Wow, a bomb by Yelich. Bernie hits the slide. First of the year for Christian Yelich, and it's 5-0 Brewers.
Yeah, line drives to left are nice, but that's even better. 430 feet.
Ooh, you could just see it building in Yelich's at-bats.
Yep, it's a final. Milwaukee blanks KC by a score of 5-0. The Mets continue to disappoint. Absolutely fantastic. They were in a tough one yesterday. Here's Kyle Stowers. This was great. Bottom of the first inning. The Marlins get it going.
There's a swing and a drive. This is hit high and deep to right center field. Series going back. Running out of room. Wall. Gone. 2-0 Miami. Boy, it's nice to see the Marlins jump out early. They've been outscored 17-5 from innings 1 through 5 so far this season. All of their damage has been done late in games, but that is a breath of fresh air right there.
Four-seam fastball right down the middle, and as I like to say, those very seldom get to the catcher's glove. Stowers knew it was gone as soon as he hit it.
Yeah, Miami beats the Mets by a score of 4-2. Meanwhile, a barn burner, Texas and Cincinnati. Here's the only run of the game.
Langford hammers that ball high in the air to left. Back on it is done. He's at the wall, and that is gone. Langford's second home run of the season. And the Rangers waste no time tonight getting that first run of the game.
Well, great job by Wyatt Langford there. You see it 361 feet.
That was the only run of the game. Right there, top of the first, home run by the Texas Rangers and Wyatt Langford. That's the final. Thanks to the Rangers Sports. 1-0. 1-0. Terry Francona, tough loss after that one. Tampa Bay blanks the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And he's got another one. A shot high and deep to right, and that baby is gone. Home run for Brandon Lau. His second of the year. And the fireworks. And evidence here tonight.
That was fun.
Shot out of here.
Tampa Bay 7, Pittsburgh nothing. It's a final. Toronto over Washington by a score of 5-3. Bo Bichette in the 8th inning, responsible.
Depending on what happens here. Bichette bounces it, fair ball! Down the line, and it scores a couple. A bouncer that Nathaniel Lowe could not come up with. It's a 2-run single and a 5-3 game.
Mo's one of the best hitters in baseball when he is healthy.
Yep. All right. Thanks there to the to Sportsnet in Toronto for that one. Meanwhile, the Angels in St. Louis in a high-scoring game.
Infield hit against the White Sox.
Ground ball fair down the third base line. Trout scores. Paris scores. 9-6 Angels.
Hakuna Matata.
Oh, what? Because Makata had to hit there. Oh, good God almighty. 9-7 Angels win over the Cardinals, San Francisco, and Houston in a tight one.
Hammered to left. Altuve looking up, and it is out of here. It's 3-0 Ramos with his third of the year.
I didn't think on contact he was going to have enough height to get over the Crawford box in left field.
I didn't either.
Yep, 3-0, 3-1 was the final. Here's how the Astros scored. Speaking of Altuve.
I was like, I'm going to get a hit. Wow. I felt great.
Speaking of getting a hit, Altuve puts one into the Crawford boxes. His first home run of 2025. That fan's fired up as Altuve makes it a...
Yep, thanks again to Space City Home Network and also NBC Sports Bay Area for those cuts. San Diego blank Cleveland.
1-2 pitch to Jackson Merrill. Swing and a miss. Taken off is Bogarts. He'll get there. Bad throw ends up in center field. From third comes Machado, and the Padres take a 6-0 lead. Third stolen base of the inning for the Padres.
Cleveland doesn't know what to think. Runners in motion. Bad throws.
Thanks to my buddy Don Orsillo. Used to be down here at Nesson for the Red Sox. He's been with the Padres now, I think, for 7 years. Hard to believe it's been that long. Don Orsillo and SDPA with the call there. Detroit over Seattle by a score of 4-1, and the Dodgers remain red hot.
High fly ball, deep left field. De La Cruz sprinting back. It's gone! Mookie Betts gives the Dodgers the lead. He got that down and in breaking ball you were calling for. Launched it over the wall for his third go-ahead home run of this homestand.
Nice job. He didn't really have to elevate it. Sale left it up a little bit.
Dodgers are like the Celtics in Major League Baseball. I don't know if the Dodgers will lose. They're 7-0. They might win all 162.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, finally, Arizona and the Yankees, a good one yesterday, up until the 8th inning. Sorry, New York.
Gino, National League Player of the Week last week. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Suarez hits a high fly ball deep to left field. Gino Suarez gone for a grand slam. He was down to his final strike with the bases full and 2 outs. A high fly ball. And it just cleared the fence out there and left. And it's 7-4 Diamondbacks.
Hey, there's your player of the week.
Guino hits Gino. What a start for Suarez.
Very clever. We got Hakuna Matata. We got some,
It's Hakuna Matata. Let's not forget. Not Matata, it's Makata.
It's no worries. All right. Meanwhile, yesterday, and we touched on a little bit, the Red Sox signing Garrett Crochet to that big extension. Here is on MLB Network Radio, Steve Phillips talking about it.
So they get the deal done, and it starts in 2026. It includes an opt-out after the 2030 season, which at that point he would be 31 years old. You're right. And so he does have the ability to go back out in the market. We saw what Max Fried got at the age of 31. Now, it guarantees him the most money ever for a player with 4+ years of service time, trumping the 5-year, $137.5 million deal DeGrom did with the Mets back in 2019. So it moves the needle, right? It moves the line a little bit. What's interesting is this has been going on for a while, but it's been hard to find the right value because he's only thrown 224 innings in his career. And he was a reliever for a couple of years. Then he had Tommy John surgery. And so he's only making $3.8 million this year after what was a great season last year. But because he didn't have any real numbers because he had been a reliever and then hurt and missed the season. And so you think about what the Red Sox did this offseason. They add Bregman for 3 years, $120 million. Obviously, there's deferrals in there. And then Walker Buehler, the 1 year, $21.05 million deal. No pitcher who received a 9-figure contract had done so with fewer than 800 innings pitched. He's throwing 224, but it's a big-time contract, and it can max out at $180 million with some bonuses in there as well, and so the escalators that are in it. So it's a big investment, but I think in some regards, too, with the progression that he has made, he probably, if it's a straight line of health and production and improvement, he probably left some money on the table. But here's a guy that went through Tommy John, and I'm not judging him for taking this deal and knowing that at 31 he can opt out and still get another mega contract. I think it's the right thing for him for security purposes, for the Red Sox to lock him up for the long term, and potentially for him to get that next contract as well. Makes a lot of sense for both sides.
All right, there you have it. I just tweeted this out, Angel. We want to play the first part of this video. And it's from PTI. It's about the torpedo bats. And there was a story that came out yesterday about Giancarlo Stanton, one of the first known adopters of the torpedo bat, said yesterday he declined to say whether he believes using it last season caused the tendon ailments in both elbows that forced him to begin the season on the injured list. Now, this was on PTI, a show that's not going to be on too much longer, but listen to this.
But we begin today with a big turn in baseball's embrace of torpedo bats. The league is reportedly planning to ban the bats going forward, citing the commissioner's integrity of the game clause. Among the reported reasons, a concern that a spike in offensive output could throw off all the over-under numbers issued by sports betting interests. Wilbon, baseball backed the bats just 2 days ago. Is it doing the right thing by reconsidering?
No. Tony, this is so overreactionary. I mean, baseball just never seems to get it right. Look, there were only 7 hitters last year who hit 300 in the major leagues. 7. That's a crazy low. Batting averages overall way down. They've done all these things to actually, unlike the trend in most sports, take offense away, right? They've done that, and so you got the analytics out there and spin rate and torque and all these things, and so finally somebody comes up with something that can help people hit a few home runs that aren't named Judge because he doesn't need the help, and baseball overreacts like this. Tony, this is insane. I thought, remember the commercials about people digging the long ball? Whatever happened to that marketing campaign? Did all those marketing people get fired a few years ago?
Well, at your insistence, most of them have been fired as recently as an hour ago. Look, this is about what happens when you get involved with gambling interests. All of these leagues, the NBA, the NFL, MLB, they all have gambling partners. As a result of that, the integrity of each game becomes more important because people bet on these games, Mike, and they bet at the encouragement of the leagues. This is like what's so bad about in the NBA when people start to tank. People lose thousands of dollars on every game betting on a team that's not only not trying to win, but is actively trying to lose. Look at Ellie De La Cruz last night. He gets one of these bats in his hands, and he destroys the over-under number because he's so far over. Prop bets, it's like a cyclone with these new bats. And what, Mike, what if you're the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yeah. De La Cruz, yeah, exactly. But then this is what happens. So people are going to bet on him yesterday. If you bet on him last night in the Reds, you lost. I mean, they didn't score any runs. We played Langford had the home run in the first, and that was it. Reds didn't. So it's so ridiculous to blame it on gambling and everything. It's to MLB though. The greater point that the boys were making is they don't get it. Once again, they don't get it. If they ban the torpedo bats, this is not new. This didn't come out 2 days ago. When Aaron Judge had 3 home runs in the game, he didn't use a torpedo bat. You know, these bats have been around. All of a sudden, you know what is a glaring stat in all of sports is what Tony C. or Wilbon, one of them just said. Only 7 players in Major League Baseball last year hit over 300. That is pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic.
Yep.
So I don't care what they use. Remember boogie ball bats we used to have, the big fat red ones?
Yep.
We used to play a game with tennis balls and stuff. It's just, bring back those, whatever it takes to get some offense going.
Maybe the
a whole bunch of it. Red Sox need a whole bunch of boogie bets.
Maybe the .212 is now the new 300.
I don't know. I'll tell you. One more thing, Angel, we're going to have to refresh and then scroll down one. This is an unbelievable story in college football, and I hope, you talk about a copycat, I hope this continues in college football, in every NFL stadium and every college football stadium. Coastal Carolina is doing something wacko.
Sure is.
I hope that Coastal Carolina isn't doing an April Fool's because I learned about this yesterday. Yeah. There's did they do a pre-April?
No way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coastal Carolina football team announced this just yesterday on the internet. Don't know how this works.
What's up, boss?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's the damage?
Free.
Free. Well, what about for this?
Free as well.
Free.
All of it free. You want some nachos?
Yeah.
Free too.
All free.
All free.
Free.
What?
Can I get 50 of these?
Yeah.
Free.
Free.
What about a drink?
All of it free.
Free.
Have 2 drinks.
Drinks? Whew.
And
all
a hot
free?
dog. Yeah.
Hot dogs free too?
All free. There you go.
Free.
Free.
Sweet.
That's right, Teal Nation. This fall in Brooks Stadium, every fan, every game, always free. Free concessions, popcorn, nachos, hot dog, fountain drinks, and water for every fan this fall. Come out to Brooks Stadium, get your tickets now, and cheer on the Shots. Go Shots.
Hey, Bub, I don't know who you are, but you're going to see a visit from us. I mean, we're going to test this thing. There has to be some sort of limit
every
in this
homeless guy in the country.
I mean, it's going to be tough to keep the homeless out of there. Obviously, getting a free meal and free drink for not only yourself, but maybe the next week could be an opportunity for some to take advantage of down there. But nonetheless, I thought this, then I thought the palm trees. I'm like, college ball is becoming minor league baseball. I love what we're doing. I don't know how that's going to work out for them. No. I honestly, I genuinely, in a time where everybody's trying to get money for the NIL stuff and trying to figure it all out, they're like, let's go the opposite direction. Let's give away everything.
Everything.
And if they fill that place up, they're thinking merch, maybe there'll be purchases, and ticket sales obviously going to go up. There has to be a limit, 1 drink, 1 food item. I don't know, because I saw that guy.
50 nachos.
That guy had 2 drinks, a hot dog, nachos, and everything else on there. So palm tree's not real. We believe that was in March.
Right.
For week 1, at least.
Okay, so anyways, that's happening.
All right, I'm now rooting for Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, first Division I program in the country to offer free concessions. CCU fans who get a ticket to the game will be able to select up to 4 items per concession stand visit from a menu selection of hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and fountain drinks. There is no limit on how many visits can make to the concession stands, but they must scan an app each time. Holy sweet baby Jesus. That is outstanding.
Sure is.
I don't know how long it's going to last. So the average attendance at CC football games last year, 21,415, about average for the Sun Belt. Coastal Carolina did not break out concessions revenue in the athletic department's annual financial report, but other schools with similar attendance figures report football concessions generate around $250,000 per game based on publicly available financial reporting. Anyway, great stuff by Coastal Carolina. Also great stuff, as always. We welcome my first guest today, my only guest today, from the Boston Herald, great sports columnist and senior betting analyst at bookies.com. It is Bill Spells for 3. Good morning, Bill. How are you? Hey, that's something. Can you imagine Fenway, or can you imagine any NFL stadium or any major college football stadium giving away free concessions?
I think Raffy Devers is going to transfer to Coastal Carolina.
Their team might be. They usually have a really good baseball team. They might be better than the Red Sox right now. I know it's very early. He is so. If you think you were bad with Raffy, you should have seen me. I've watched every single pitch for every game so far this year. Every single pitch. My wife she just starts yelling at you. Don't say it. I start like on deck, like two at bats before he gets to the plate. I start yelling at him, already. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about mentally not there because he can't play third base. And I don't want to hear it. It is so awful to watch him attempt to even hit. I mean, you got Tom Carrot, Lou Maloney, Dave O'Brien talking about, there was good contact. That's where we're at with this guy. Good. I'll settle for a sacrifice fly. I thought Jim Rice had an excellent idea the other day after the game with TC, talking about turning the batting cage around, and when he had Jose Canseco and forced him to hit to the opposite field. Whatever it is Raffy's doing, do the opposite. Beat George Costanza. Grab somebody else's bat if you have. I don't know what it is, but wow, is he?
He's like
I've ever seen a player.
He's like a living ad. They should just put Ozempic on the side of his uniform whenever he comes up to the plate. Like every time I see him hit, I go throw up what I just ate because I just don't want to gain any weight. I look at him and I'm like, my God, this is disgusting. He's fat and he's a professional athlete who all he has to do is hit a baseball. And I know his shoulder was out of commission this past off season. That did not preclude him from working on his cardio, working on his strength, working on his coordination. I mean, it's so painfully obvious the guy literally did nothing before spring training and didn't really do much during spring training. He barely faced live pitching. That's
on him too, and that's on the Red Sox for allowing it. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's where you're going to find yourself. And I know the guys this year in spring training. You were down here. We watched games together. The other guys had bad spring trainings, and Abreu had a bad spring training.
Yeah, but it's not about having a bad spring training. It's about showing up,
getting acclimated.
And there's one person who's making $7 million a year to make sure that all of the players on the team are mentally and physically on board, and that's Alex Cora. And this, I blame Devers. I always blame the person.
Yeah.
But there's also someone whose job it was to make sure that this guy was with the program all along. And I think Cora's arrogance and his, fact that he's locked in and secure in what he's doing, that he doesn't have to worry about being held accountable for anything. And he was sort of, ever since the whole Bregman thing started, he should have known that Devers was going to implode, or in his case, expand, once he lost third base. And this is a complete failure on the part of Alex Cora to have this guy ready physically, mentally, and otherwise. You don't treat everybody, you treat everybody fairly, but not the same. And obviously Devers is the kind of guy that needs a lot of,
baby.
His nickname is Babyface for a reason. And it's not just because of his face. he's kind of a, probably an immature guy in a lot of ways, and he just needs to be coddled. And some athletes you have to coddle, and he's one. And they have, he's failed. They've failed with him. They misread the situation with how he would react. Was anybody even keeping an eye on this guy in the off season? There's so many questions to ask, and again, this is a really good example of what's still inherently wrong with this team. They glad they signed Crochet. I'm not going to knock him for that. I think they got the guy. He's young. If this guy's healthy, that contract will be a steal. But you have to look at it from Devers' perspective. He's lost the guys that he came up with. He's sort of by himself now. He was lost in the field without Bogarts. Now he's just lost, period. And they messed this up. They messed this up badly. He's messed it up badly. I don't know if and when this is going to break. Obviously, I watched that Jim Rice, what he said the other day. It's like you got to become a slap hitter and just slap the ball to the left side and just try to get on base and make contact. It's pretty sad that's where it's at with this guy, because he cannot hit anything. I mean, he is so far behind.
You see where his head is every swing, his head is looking at. Well, I gotta go this way on the TV. His head is towards right field. Every single swing, he's not watching the ball at all. When I get tingling when he hits a foul ball, I'm like, hey, you made contact, Hercules. I mean, they're talking about, that was a good. He drew a walk. I mean, that's where it is. I feel bad for Maloney and Dave O'Brien without saying how much he sucks, because they really can't do that. You gotta, kind of read between the lines. But when
I think anybody
walk and making contact
Yeah.
to foul balls, that's oh my God.
But I think in their own way, they are saying that,
I agree.
by giving him little league credit for drawing a walk. To me, you're right. Okay, he sucks. Yeah, we know that he struck out 15 times in 19 official plate appearances or at bats, I should say. So yeah, he does suck. But sometimes you don't have to say that. It's self-evident. It's there.
Absolutely.
I think by saying, "Oh, good job, little Raffy, you drew a walk," that's obviously a backhanded slap at how poorly he's doing. And then, of course, Papelbon, he doesn't care. He just comes right out and same with Jim Rice.
The thing, the pig comment he made was
and again, I don't think Jim Rice gives 0 Fs too. So and given what happened this offseason, I think Jim Rice could, basically say or do anything he wants on these broadcasts, and they wouldn't fire him, given the fact that they got people on the freaking payroll who don't even know who he is. I think Jim Rice, he's actually been really good this year.
I think he's been excellent.
I think part of that is he realizes that, he's been inoculated now. The Red Sox, there's no way they could ever get rid of this guy because of what happened this offseason, because, I mean, imagine that, you know how sensitive they are PR-wise. Imagine the disaster if they got rid of Jim Rice for him being critical of the team. That would be good for me, but I think it would be a disaster for them. They're not that stupid. So, those guys have done very well, and they've been very fair and honest and critical when necessary. Hell, the defense this year has been spectacular. They made one error, and that really wasn't even an error. It was just a bobble. The pitching's been okay. The defense is what's keeping them in these games. They're turning double plays that they wouldn't have turned last year, which makes all this even more frustrating because they could easily be 5-0 right now.
I agree totally, and it's not helping that they're leading the league in runners left on base. I mean, it's not just we can rip Raffy, and rightly so. Bregman so far, I mean, it'll come, but I mean, everybody who gets up with runners in scoring position is just not getting it done. And you're right, the pitching, even for the young kid who pitched the other day, gave up 4 runs in the first inning and then pretty much settled down.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed by that he actually, got through it. And again, this team with this lineup, 4 runs, you should be able to win a game like that, especially when the guy still gives you 6 innings or whatever it was. But to me, it's been the infield. The fielding has been, boy, Bregman is the second baseman, the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Christian Chambers.
hope and pray Trevor Story doesn't get hurt. If they can keep this infield intact as is, they're going to be in every game, because last year it was so many runs they lost because of that infield, and that has not happened, and it's just been leaving guys on base. That's basically been the problem. They're getting on base. They're just not able to push them around. And, when you can't steal signs anymore, it's hard. Back in the day when Cora could steal all the signs when they had the runners on second base, that was easy to do. Now they can't do that because of the computers or whatever, the headphones. It would be interesting to track the Red Sox offensive production with runners on second base before and after the pitch phone radar, or whatever you want to call it, radio, because Cora was stealing every sign in the book. But now, they've taken a hit because of that. So, it's early.
Yeah, it's early.
I don't think Devers is going to strike out 640 times.
Do you think he'll play today? I haven't seen the lineup yet. They play tonight at 6:30 against Baltimore.
Well, they're coming off a day off, so I don't know why he wouldn't play.
Would you still bat him second, or do you need to drop him in the order? I'd drop him in the order. I'd put him ninth, at least for a couple of games. I'm sorry. I put him ninth right now until he gets.
I suppose, but you have to always do what's best for the team, right? And to me, I don't think batting him ninth is going to improve the situation. I would either A, put him on the DL or send him down, or B, keep him as is, because moving him down to ninth is just going to make him sulk even more.
Well, what would happen if you moved to Pawtucket or Worcester?
Well, I think the issue there is to say to him, look, you just need a lot of reps, against to sort of get your swing back, and maybe he can get his swing back against AAA pitching, and he's got to get his feet.
I think he'd have a conniption if right now, if they said you're going to Worcester and I don't disagree with you. I think he'd have a meltdown.
Well,
absolute meltdown.
I think it would be the same, I suppose, if you moved him in the order.
But how long how much more do you give him? I mean, if he goes 0 for 4 today with 3 more strikeouts, I mean, we're going to keep saying the same thing. Maybe not moving tonight. You got to move him out of that second spot.
Well, I would just bench him. Again, I would bench him. I would
that too.
I would put him in a situation. Well, again, I wouldn't have let it get this far. Okay.
Agreed.
But now that it is this far, right? You're in this far. You're in this mess that you have created with him. How do you get out of this mess? Something has to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the home opener is a big deal, right? On home opener's Friday.
In St. Louis on Friday, yeah.
You got to have him in that second spot in the home opener. So I would say to him, let's figure something out. Do you want to take a few days and just work on the swing? Or we might have to move you down in the lineup. We want you in the lineup on opening day, but we got to do something because it's not working. You need to get him. He needs to have he felt left out, obviously, with this whole Bregman thing. And he was sort of off by himself during spring training for like the first, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So for me, I would try to get some buy-in, get him to buy into what you want to do. You need to bring him back into the fold. And, there's ways to do that. Maybe like what Rice said, it's just all mechanical. And you could do all these mechanical things without overtly moving him, to shun him or whatever you want to use. Although I don't think the bottom of the order is that freaking great anyway. But, I don't know what the real question is whether or not he stays in the lineup or not.
Well, I think it's a good point, and especially tomorrow. Don't forget tonight game, and then an early getaway day game tomorrow at Camden Yards, an early
That's
start.
the game I sit
That's
him.
the one I would think if he goes.
I sit him tomorrow.
Unless he goes 4 for 4 today or something like that, then
Well,
I guess
yeah.
you leave him in. But other than that, I think you're right. Tomorrow is the day that he sits down.
Yeah, but that you might do that anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's a day game after a night game, and you're coming home for the opener on Friday. So that one's a lot easier to digest. Because like if he was playing third, he would not be playing Thursday afternoon. We know that.
Yep.
So that's an easy one to explain or to get him to go along with.
What if they give Bergman a day off tomorrow afternoon and put Devers at third? I can't see them doing that, but I mean,
no, because again, I think they've done enough mind effing with this guy. Yeah. If Cora wanted to prove whatever machismo point that he needed to prove, I think he proved it with Cora, and now the guy's a mess. He's a puddle, and the question is how you're going to handle it, because whatever you've done thus far ain't working. You certainly blew it in the off season. The fact that he didn't work out at all. How do the Red Sox not know that? How do the Red Sox not get someone down there? What about sending Ortiz down there in the offseason and having him sit down and say,
well, you remember what he said to that? You remember that was suggested early in spring training, and Cora got very defensive about it. I don't need to send anybody down there. I totally agree with you. I brought it up before we talked about it. I'm like, David Ortiz should go talk to this guy.
Well, they should have been, but they could have done this in January. They could have done, my whole point is, why didn't you do this in the off season? It drives me nuts. It's like last year with the Patriots, right? Once the Patriots realized they were going to take Drake May, even in January, they should have built the entire franchise around that. That should have been the focus. Mm-hmm. The same here. The whole off season, if we're going to believe them, and if John Henry was on the phone every day trying to make a deal to get Alex Bregman for 70 days, the Red Sox should have also had Rafi Devers aware of what's happening, aware of this eventuality that he's not going to be playing third base. And again, this is why, they're making all this money. This isn't my job to do this. This is their job. And they didn't do it. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Mm-hmm. These are things that they should have done, because this is what they should do, instead of having, freaking loser flunky nerds telling Jim Rice he doesn't know what he's talking about, when the guy had to face freaking Nolan Ryan and
that's embarrassing.
Tom Seaver.
Yep.
Remember, Seaver played for the White Sox.
Yeah,
he had to face these Hall of Fame Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, Ron.
How about the whole Orioles staff in the 80s? How about Palmer, Stone, McGregor?
Yeah, so he had to face Jim Rice had to face all these Hall of Fame pitchers, in their prime, and you got some guy who has my athletic ability telling him he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, you are nimble. I've seen you. You're nimble.
Yeah, I am. They call me El Gato.
What's the reception going to be, though? If Devers didn't play today, say maybe plays tomorrow, or vice versa, whatever it is, we both agree he's going to not play in both of these games. What if he's 0 for 4 again, no matter if it's tonight or tomorrow afternoon, and then gets introduced with everybody else on Friday? They're going to boo him off the field. Oh, yeah, they will. No, they will. No, I think they will. If he's 0 for 23 with, say, 20 strikeouts, and they introduce him, he is going to get booed during introductions. Yes, he will. I'll bet you.
No, they're not going to boo him because he sucks. Because if he's in a slump, they're going to cheer him on. They're going to cheer him up. They're going to buoy him, not boo him.
I disagree.
Buoy, not boo.
I don't. He'll get some cheers. He's going to get some cheers. I'll put it this way. Let me rephrase. There's going to be more boos than cheers. If he hasn't gotten a hit yet and strikes out 3 more times over the next couple of days, he's getting booed more than he's cheered.
When he's first introduced on opening day, when they say, "Oh, meet your Red Sox," you got to remember it's 75. All the greats are going to be there. The place will be all feel good, fuzzy, wuzzy. Wally, Linda Pizzuti, Instagram feels. So he will be cheered when he strikes out with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. Then they'll boo his ass off. But when he's first, they're not going to boo the guy when he's first introduced because he's in a slump. You're going to boo him.
What happens today? I think they will.
Loaded.
I think they will. I think. I mean, the comments that I see, and not again, the people that I don't hear radio stations. There's only 2% of the people that call in. The comments that you see, though, I think fans are already fed up already, and because there isn't even a scintilla of evidence that he's going to be able to put the ball in play. I mean, there hasn't been any of that. If that continues, the way that this is not like I agree with you. If it was me, I wouldn't boo. I understand that, but the younger people that are going to these games now, they don't have any sense of respect and all that crap. The older people may not boo, but the younger people are going to boo his ass off that field.
Well,
I'm telling you,
all the people who bet him to hit more than 30 home runs are going to boo his ass.
There's that. And this is without a torpedo bat, which now we're talking about, Wilbon yesterday about being, look, this has been around. Even before last year, the torpedo bat has been around. I don't understand how this is getting so blown out of proportion. And now, Bill, they're talking about banning it now.
Raffy doesn't need a torpedo bat. No. He needs a nuclear submarine.
I said he could have 10 torpedo bats hitched together and he'd still strike out.
No, he needs the entire 7th Fleet. He doesn't need a torpedo bat.
All right, a couple more things before we let you go. Bill Sparrow's joining me, for great columnist from the Boston Herald and senior betting analyst at bookies.com. Robert Kraft made an appearance yesterday at the West Palm for the owners' meetings while they were messing around with all the rules and all that stuff. A lot of it I agree with. But announcing that Bill Parcells, the bad blood is gone. And I explained to everybody who wasn't around what happened when the Super Bowl in Green Bay, New Orleans, and went to the Jets, and it was real ugly. And so the bad blood is gone. Bill Parcells is going to be inducted, I think rightly so, obviously, into the Patriots Hall of Fame. They wouldn't be where they are now or that whole couple of decades without him and Drew Bledsoe. But overall, what'd you think of Mr. Kraft's appearance and what he said about, everything?
Well, he used the phrase, well, we're still alive. He's obviously well aware of his mortality at his age. He should be, not to be disparaging, but to be honest. He's honest about it, so I'll be honest about it. I think when you reach a point, if we all live to be that long and be successful like him, you look at Robert Kraft and where he's at in life, his family, he had a great marriage for a long time, and now he's trying to live it all. Why have the bad blood? Why have the negativity or the hatred? He reached out to Parcells. That tells me all I need to know. Mm-hmm. I think, and I think that's all Parcells probably ever wanted. There's zero chance he would have said no. I don't think Parcells is, Parcells a little bit more classy. You said old school. No one's more old school than Parcells. So he knows that if, someone extends a hand, you have to accept it. It's the right thing to do, but I think it kind of overshadowed the big news. The big news is that Jordan Hudson turns 24 tomorrow. And, Bill Belichick, I wrote this in the Herald today, he's on the clock. He's got this is like a Super Bowl. This could be his ninth Super Bowl ring, so to speak, if he, I can envision Belichick, getting down on one knee and saying, do your job, say yes. And then, of course, she has to help him up. And he puts the ring on her finger. She puts.
No, you're being disrespectful.
She puts the life alert around his neck.
That is so disrespectful. How dare you? Bill Belichick is in great shape. You've seen him do yoga. He can do anything. He's like an Avenger.
I alluded to his old man leg strength.
And by the way, I'm trying to retweet that for you. It's not under your Twitter page.
Helping her mimic her Rose pose from Titanic. Yes, I think Mike Lombardi's going to jump out of the cake. He would do it too. He's such a flunky.
By the way, back in the day, a good drinking game, I used to say this to everybody. When Titanic came out, you know what a great drinking game is if you have the stamina for it? You take a shot, or you take a sip of your beer or whatever you're drinking. Every time somebody says Rose or Jack, it's fantastic. It's a great game to play.
Well, One reason why I wrote that column was because I was sick and tired of everybody getting her age wrong. Half the world says she's 23, half the world says she's 24. I did a little journalism, found her birth announcement. She turns 24 tomorrow, which means they're only 48 years apart until April 16th.
Yeah.
When he turns 73. So there's that brief window when they're practically the same age. It's great. Look, love wins, right? I don't judge. Look, I just point out the fact that she was 3 when they won their 3rd Super Bowl, right? You can judge that.
I
right?
can't take it. No.
Look, when Malcolm Butler made that catch, she was in 8th grade. I just point out the facts.
I can't.
It's funny. The 80
things I can't handle.
The 80 for Brady ladies, they went all the way to Texas, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jordan was a 15-year-old cheerleader at Nauset High. And the funny thing is, it turns out that Brady and Gronk weren't the only hunks on the field that day, right? There was a pudgy little guy in a hoodie that was catching the eye of a young student. Again, we just point out the facts, right?
Oh, my God.
I let others judge. I report, you decide.
Yep.
13 titles in 23 years. She is, I put this in my column, she is the female version of Sign Kid. She came along, she birthed a dynasty, so to speak, right?
Yeah. That's one
she was yet to be conceived when Tom Brady was drafted. And, so that was, it's biblical. I mean, it is New Testament, right? The stars, Bethlehem, all that. Yeah. But she was, three Super Bowl rings, 3 birthday candles. It's all.
Wilbon also brought up an interesting stat. I don't want a couple more things with the NFL and betting stuff, what's going to go on Christmas Day. And maybe you know this. If I ask, how many players in Major League Baseball last year do you think hit 300 or better?
Yeesh. 6.
Close. That's a great 7.
Okay.
That's pathetic. That is pathetic. And they're talking about Major League Baseball able to screw this up again with the torpedo bat, bowling pin bat, whatever you want to call it. They just don't get it. This is not something that happened last week. Aaron Judge didn't even use it when he was hitting all those home runs. So I don't know why people think this is some new fad. It's been going on for a while. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize that like 3 or 4 teams used the bat last year.
Yeah, and now Giancarlo Stanton, now they're trying to blame the bat on his elbow problems. And he used the bat last year, and they're trying to blame that. I can't.
I got 8 pictures of Ted Williams in my office. The only torpedoes he saw were the ones that he dropped in practice as a Navy pilot.
Yep, absolutely. All right, last minutes here.
Marine pilot, I'm sorry.
Yes, and was shot down, by the way.
Yes.
And being so tall saved his life, right? You've heard that story about it. It's an amazing story. Christmas Day is going to be 3 games this year in the NFL. 2 on Netflix and then 1 on Amazon because they don't want to give up the Thursday night because Christmas is on a Thursday. We don't want to screw around with that. So I like it. I don't care. I heard somewhere the Chiefs are pushing to play on Christmas. They like playing on Christmas or something like that. But the ratings were phenomenal.
NFL is king.
NFL is
king. I mean, the Christmas used to belong to the NBA, not anymore.
Nope.
And hey, I was in Europe for Christmas last year, but I'll be in Florida for Christmas this year. So I'm all for it. I think it's great. Why not? Yeah. It's not like you're going to go to, back in the day, we'd go to the movies on Christmas at night because, there was always good movies playing. Now the movies.
You want to get away from your family.
So I mean, what movie on Christmas night that would premiere would be better than like the Chiefs in Buffalo or something like that? There is none. So, I think it's great. Why not?
I remember Christmas Day, and I think it was Christmas Day night. It was 1990. I was single, living out in Leominster, Massachusetts, and I just got back from my family. Like, I'm bored to tears already. I need to go out and whatever. So it was the opening weekend of Godfather 3. I remember walking into the movie theater, and it was a who's who in there, and in Leominster, Mass. Every politician that was there, I knew it. And I saw people. It was just crazy, just filled, packed with people that just wanted to get the hell away from wherever they came from. And then we saw the movie, which did not live up to expectations, obviously, but nevertheless, it was something I'll never forget on Christmas Day. Rocky IV is also a Christmas Day movie. I'm sorry, Rocky V with Tommy Gunn.
Jesus.
That horrible.
Why are you trying to depress us? Is this like suck movies of all time week?
All right. Anyway, before I let you go, what is anything big happening in the gambling world? Since you are the senior betting analyst at bookies.com, what is happening?
There's always stuff.
I know. That's why I go to the expert.
There's always stuff going on.
I trust.
Last week, I sat down and chatted with Massachusetts State Senator John Keenan.
Yes.
He of Norfolk County. He has authored a bill that would, among other things in the Commonwealth, raise the tax rate that operators pay from 20 to 51%. It would ban sports book operator ads during live sporting events. It would eliminate live and prop betting. And it would also force operators to limit players who are in over the head, for lack of a better term.
Will that also include early cash outs if you're winning, hitting 2 out of 3 legs of a parlay and the third leg is you're doing okay? Do you think that would include early cash outs as well?
No, that would be something different.
Okay.
But it's obviously a very, excessive piece of legislation. And I spoke to him for 35 minutes because, I know everybody says journalism sucks, but I actually learned the trade when it didn't suck. So I wanted to get his perspective. And, he views gambling as a public health crisis akin to, he used the OxyContin epidemic, the painkiller epidemic example several times. And his argument is that the addictive nature of OxyContin and other painkillers that online operators in particular, follow the same patterns, and they, it was very scientific or medically focused.
Did you mention scratch tickets and Keno?
I did bring up the lottery, and he told me that they actually tried to get some of these provisions into the online lottery bill that passed last year, but as things go, that bill, the online lottery bill, was done in committee at the end of the session. So, what happens, every state's different in the Commonwealth. What happens is you have, the House will pass certain bills, the Senate will pass certain bills, and they go to conference. And usually, the last day of the session, there'll be 10 or 6 or 8, or this is how the sports betting bill passed, by the way. There'll be multiple pieces of legislation that aren't finished. So when they go into conference to do the budget, which is always the last thing that they do, they also add these other bills into the mix. And they have a representative committee from the Senate and a representative committee from the House. And those committee members hammer out the differences. And then what will happen is, like what happened with the sports betting bill, once it went into committee, the only people left in the chamber is the Senate president and the House speaker, and they'll just, by unanimous acclamation, approve these bills that were done in committee. So what happened with the lottery bill last year when they approved online lottery is that he actually had a lot of these provisions in that bill, but they never made it into the final bill. And he said they actually do. I mean, he actually did address the lottery. I give him credit. He didn't duck it when I brought it up. And he has the same feeling about the lottery now that it's online. So at least, in his case, he's intellectually honest in terms of, this could be a problem with the online lottery as well as online sports betting.
Bill, you're the best. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And I just retweeted your Herald column And I suggest everybody read it. It's very very good. Thank you so much. Bill Sparrows is the senior betting analyst at bookies.com and a great columnist for the Boston Herald. Always a pleasure. Yes, a tip of the hat to you. I have my headphones on. And despite what anybody says, you are definitely nimble. I've seen you in action.
Yeah.
I've seen you in action.
All
right, real quick. If you had a bet, will Rafi get a hit today?
Sure, why not? I'm an optimist.
Will Rafi keep the ball in play today?
Oh,
whether he grounds out or flies out. Will he even do that?
Yeah, he'll definitely get a ball in play today.
How many Ks do you think today?
I would say the over-under has to be 1.5.
Well, I say it's got to be 2. I'm going to say he Ks 3 more times today.
That's
yeah. It's about average. It's about average. So, all right. I'll be watching. It'll be interesting. All right, my friend, all the best, and we'll talk again next week. Really appreciate you coming on, as always. Great stuff. There it is, Bill Sparrows from the Boston Herald. Angel Martinez, how are you doing? What's up for you today? Nothing else coming up on the network today. We are retooling still and revamping some stuff, and there's going to be some new shows coming up and everything else. Everybody hang tight. You can always go back and listen to this on a continuous loop if you really want to drive yourself insane.
Yeah. Although Bill was absolutely hilarious. Talk about her, being 3, being 8. That was something else.
I don't like thinking about that stuff because it's like it's just over the top creepy.
Yeah,
it's over the top creepy, but it is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. All right. So what do you got going on today? You got getting ready to cover the women's Final Four tomorrow.
Yes, heading down to Tampa as we leave the area here. It is credential pickup time. Also scheduling of what's going on. The women were around town. I'm pretty sure they're going to be around town one more time today before they start heading to practice, as they have different times for their practice times. But about to head down to Tampa and pick up downtown, I should say.
Are you around for tomorrow's show? I'm just trying to plan ahead.
Yes, tomorrow will be off because I'll be at the breakfast with ESPN and
you won't be on it all tomorrow, right? So I just want to make sure when I get my audio and video coordinated. Otherwise, I'll load the show up. I'll send you a text. We'll probably have like 3 guests tomorrow anyway, starting at 8:00. So I'll handle it from this end as best I can. But I'm going to miss it. I told you I want you to provoke Gino Auriemma. Get him to get mad at you, and so we can play the cut on the air.
Well, good. I'll get him to get mad at me, and then I'll revoke it at the same time. Get out! Get out!
All right. That's going to do it for me. Thanks again to Bill Sparrows right here. I am Pete. I am back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with a loaded show. Will Rafi Devers strike out 2, 3, or 4 times tonight? Will he get a hit? Will he keep the ball in play? Not get a hit, just keep the ball in play. I'd say no. We'll find out tonight. Have a great and safe rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Back tomorrow at 7 a.m. See ya!